Welcome to this microchip training video. After watching this video, you'll be asked to take a short question and answer session, so listen carefully. So, what species can you microchip? As a non-veterinary implanter, you're allowed to microchip dogs, cats, rabbits and ferrets. However, horses, birds and reptiles are strictly a veterinary procedure and should never be attempted by a non-veterinarian. It's recommended that puppies and kittens are not microchipped before 6 to 8 weeks of age. If you're not sure if you should be microchipping any animal, contact the person that trained you before proceeding. Equipment. You will be using either of the following product types. The standard 12 by 2 mm microchip, this can be used for dogs, or the mini 8 by 1.4 mm microchip, which should be used for toy breeds of dogs, cats and rabbits. If you're not sure which size of microchip you're using, check the size printed on the barcode label. The standard and the mini microchip each have their own implant device. It's vital you select the correct device for the microchip you're using. You can be sure you have the right microchip by checking for the word mini and the red barrel on the implant device. If you try to use the wrong implant device, the microchip will not be expelled correctly. You also need to check that the packaging around the needle is still intact and that the expiry date has not passed. Before you take the microchip out of its packaging, it must be scanned. The scanner is easy to use. Simply press the blue button on the left-hand side until the display says Reading. The scanner is now searching for a microchip. Scan the microchip in its packet. Check the barcode label reads the same as the scanner's display. The scanner uses a 9-volt battery. Always carry a spare in case you get a low battery warning. Demonstration. Here's a tabletop demonstration to show you how to use the implant device. Once you've scanned it, remove the microchip and barcode labels from the packet. The needle will have a protective sheath over it. For safety and sterility, leave this on until you're ready to use the needle. Through the sheath, you should be able to see the bevel, the angular cut across the end of the needle. Attach the microchip to the implant device so the bevel of the needle is facing you when the needle is securely fixed. It's best to hold the device in your dominant hand. Twist clockwise towards you one full turn until the needle is secured in place. This may take a couple of attempts. The bevel on the end of the needle should now be facing you. Now, remove the sheath and check that the bevel's in the correct position. Once you have inserted the needle in the PET, you will press the lever in the handle of the implant device. This pushes the rod down the bore of the needle, making contact with a sterile plastic spacer. This, in turn, will push the microchip out of the needle. You can now see the plastic spacer that's left in the needle bevel once the microchip has been expelled. This is not the chip. It's to keep the microchip sterile by keeping it away from the push rod in the implant device. Microchipping a pet. This is Sam Webster and his dog Barney. They've come to get Barney microchipped. The first thing you need to do is reassure Barney with a pat. Let him sniff the scanner. Then scan Barney completely, as it may be that Barney has already been microchipped before Sam got him. If you do find a microchip, make a note of the number and contact PetLog to check if the animal is already registered. Ask advice from PetLog on what to do next. Make sure you scan thoroughly. If the reader times out before you've finished, press the button and continue until you're happy there is no chip present. If you're sure Barney is not microchipped, you can proceed. Check the packaging and scan the microchip as we saw earlier. Attach the needle to the implant device. Get a colleague to hold Barney securely and make sure he's comfortable. Using your thumb and middle finger, pull the skin up from the shoulder blades. Holding the implant device horizontal, insert the needle through the skin towards the head. Apply firm, even pressure until you feel the needle pierce the skin completely. Sometimes you'll feel a popping sensation. When you're certain the needle is through the skin, press the lever of the implant device to expel the microchip from the needle. Once the microchip has been expelled, hold the needle through the skin as you withdraw, ensuring the microchip doesn't get dragged back out with the needle. Put the needle and implant device down safely away from Barney while maintaining pressure on the implant site. Before you release the skin at the injection site, check the area to ensure the microchip has been placed correctly under the skin. Occasionally, there may be a little bleeding. This should not be a cause for concern, it's simply where the needle has caught a capillary. If bleeding should occur, simply apply pressure with clean cotton wool or tissue until bleeding stops. Scan Barney to check the microchip is now correctly in place. Take the barcodes, place one on the stub and a second on the receipt. Fill in the date and the details of the owner and the pet on the stub. Give Sam the receipt with the microchip number and barcodes. Explain that he'll get confirmation of Barney's registration from PetLog and that it's now his responsibility to make sure that Barney's details are kept up to date. Explain to Sam that the site should now be left completely alone for about 12 hours while the microchip settles. This is to prevent any risk of infection or migration. Dispose of the needle safely. If you have any questions on this training video or any aspects of microchipping that you feel haven't been covered, either contact the person who trained you or PediMark.